Something shocking has taken place in Watertown, Massachusetts, that no one is talking about. No mainstream media outlets would touch the subject, and even fringe media sources are hesitant to wade into these waters. While everyone is fixated stock prices, oil in Venezuela, potential market meltdown, something strange is taking place in an unassuming small house in this Boston suburb. The boy at the center of all the madness. His name is Abba. And by the time people find out what he's been doing, the secrets, the potential he's been unlocking, they are going to wish they had paid attention sooner. And what I'm about to reveal, depending on who you are, could either inspire you or offend you. Inspire you to up your game, take on the system, achieve full focus on goal maxing. Or it could offend you to your core, as you ask how this child, your challenge belief systems and defy systems, governments, and possibly even physics. But more on this later. The past week has been rough for Daddy Michael. Half asleep at a keyboard, covered in his own snot, typing away while reading angry emails for his boss. His crypto game is sus, XRP phobic. He is sneezing upwards of 200 times a day. Meanwhile, Abba's been in hiding, quietly leveling up while his dad is asleep at the wheel. It started with small things, from video games to brain games, Rubik's Cube, push-ups and calisthenics, half hour and hour a day, resurfacing for chores, homework, and basketball. Daddy Michael would have to pry him from his video games for this. He doesn't like basketball, not one bit, and that fact makes the conclusion, the ending to this story, even more jaw-dropping, more gripping, more earth-shattering, surely leaving you with more questions than answers. But we'll get to that later. Abba would begin to slowly evolve. From Rubik's Cubes that he solved blindfolded while taking his 4:30 a.m. ice bath, to developing an intuitive understanding of the stock market. Daddy Michael, he asked one day, "What are stocks all about?" "That's more of a grown-up thing," Daddy Michael replied. Abba wasn't deterred, and quickly obtained a crypto portfolio and day trading capability that would make Warren Buffett red with envy. On the phone with merchants in China, beginning to pick up Mandarin, Denise and Mike would hear the conversations, the clanking of weights, but thought he was just playing. He couldn't actually be lifting that rack on his bench press ? Where did he even get a bench press? And the sensory deprivation chamber in the basement? How did he? But Denise wasn't complaining as long as his homework got done and the dishes got done. And not only were they getting done, but the house was suspiciously clean, and Abba could no longer be found glued to TV watching Minecraft. Instead of watching little men build a cartoon world, he began building. He had no time for dishes. He hired a cleaner come by for him. And Daddy Michael was so caught up in his work that he didn't notice that an Asian lady was doing all of Abba's chores. Mike was busy mogging on Instagram, boasting of his crypto fluency, trying to up his Mog status, while Abba didn't even have to try to glow up. Daddy Michael was spiraling, writing melodramatic Facebook posts about how the chairman of the Fed wouldn't respond to his angry emails. Meanwhile, Abba was piecing together a plan to dismantle Federal Reserve power through crypto gains, maxing out his Mog status through economic enlightenment and financial freedom. The changes weren't obvious, not right away. and Abba was able to hide the changes. Whispers began back and forth between Mike and Denise. But Abba knew his power was in keeping his strengths a secret. But the big day was coming. Saturday. A basketball game. One he didn't have any intention of going to. And that meant facing Daddy Michael head on. That meant showing his strength, defying a parental order that has existed for millennium in this country. When it was time to go to basketball, and your parents already paid the registration fee, you just went. No questions asked, and acted really sulky about it. But Abba sought to change these rules, rewrite the American tradition, and he had been waiting for this opportunity for an entire week. Abba would get dressed for basketball as usual that day. He was cooperative, and even slightly cheerful, and told Daddy Michael he would meet him out at the car. Mike was relieved. That was easy, he thought. But a voice in his head, that voice you never ask to chime in, but is always right, it whispered to him, "Yeah, almost too easy." His subconscious mind, perhaps. The way Abba cooperated seemed completely sus. Something wasn't mathing. Nevertheless, he walked out to the car, cautiously opening the door. Abba was nowhere to be found. "Abba!" he yelled. But Abba was not in any of the seats of the vehicle. He ran back inside, but Denise had not seen him either. Minutes turned to more minutes, maybe 5 minutes, until a light bulb went off in Daddy Michel's head. He's at the playground. He whipped out of the driveway in the family car and broke every traffic law in the book to chase Abba down. And what he saw when he reached the playground was both confusing and perhaps a bit of relief. But there was fear in him as he approached Abba, who was dribbling through his legs at lightning speed and staring at his stepdad with a fire in his eyes. It was obvious what needed to happen. Abba would play Mike one-on-one, and if he won, then he could walk away from basketball for good. And if Mike won, Abba would have to finish the season. No words needed to be exchanged. These parameters were agreed upon with a solemn glance. But before Mike could even warm up, Abba drained a jump shot and then a three-pointer. Mike's only solution was to foul. In a jealous rage, Mike tried to hit Abba on the arm so that he wouldn't be able to shoot baskets with such dominance and precision. But it was no use. The punch bounced off of Abba's bicep, and what Abba would do next would shake Mike to his core. He didn't cry foul. He didn't run to a referee or take his ball and go home. He calmly grabbed Mike's raised hand, stared him straight in the eye, and said, "Stop. You are better than that. I know you are Daddy Michael." The rest of the game was played fair, but intense. Neither would give an inch on defense, and played similar to the Harlem Globetrotters when on offense. And when the battle had reached its pinnacle, both men exhausted, Abba would do something that would shock the group of spectators that had begun to gather. He slam dunked to win the game. I cannot say whether this legend is true, but witnesses say that he dunked in dominant fashion to win the game, in such a way that would make Vince Carter want to sue for copyright infringement. Others believe their eyes must have deceived them that day, that there is no way happened. Total cap. Mike won't talk about it. Abba is far too humble. He stepped away from the game of basketball, stepped down from being mogged-out entrepreneur with protein shakes running through his veins, and simply went back to being a kid. A kid who plays the goat video game, where the goat runs around, terrorizing society. In life, he is the goat. Abba is the greatest of all time. The END.